It's that time again. The Nintendo eShop is packed with some amazing sales. We've got everything here. Fast-paced action, clever indies, emotional adventures, and a few absolute hidden gems that deserve a spot on your Switch. Whether you're looking for something intense to sink hours into, or a cozy game to wind down with at night, there's something in this list for every kind of player. We're diving in headfirst into some of the best deals available on the eShop right now, so let's get started. Kicking off with Blazing Beaks, a quirky twin-stick roguelike that proves cute doesn't mean easy. You play as adorable little birds, blasting your way through randomly generated dungeons filled with dangerous critters and powerful loot. The big twist here is its risk-reward system. Throughout your runs, you will pick up cursed artifacts that make things harder, reducing your health, slowing your attacks, all kind of nasty effects. But if you survive long enough, you can cash them in for huge rewards. It's a constant balance between greed and survival. The pixel art is bright and colourful, and the controls are snappy and responsive, perfect for quick, satisfying bursts of action. There's also a fun, local co-op mode that turns chaos into comedy, especially when one friend keeps accidentally stealing all the loot. Blazing Beaks is quirky, tough, funny, and endlessly replayable, and right now it's just £2.69 or your regional equivalent, a massive 80% off. This sale ends on October 21st in Europe and October 19th in the US and Canada. And speaking of birds, let's talk about one of the most famous geese in gaming. Untitled Goose game needs almost no introduction at this point, but it's still just as hilarious and charming as it was the day it released. You play as a horrible goose causing chaos in a peaceful little village, honking at people, stealing their stuff, and generally making their lives miserable in the funniest ways possible. The beauty of this game lies in its simplicity. You're given a small sandbox with a to-do list of mischief, and how you complete each task is entirely up to you. It's basically a stealth puzzle game with slapstick humour and pure comedic timing. The visuals are clean and storybook-like, the animation is delightfully expressive, and the honk, it's iconic. It's both silly and surprisingly clever, and the free 2-player co-op mode makes it even better. Double the geese, double the trouble. It's short, sweet, and perfectly light-hearted. Currently, Untitled Goose Game is 50% off, and at £8.99 or your regional equivalent is a great price for about 6 hours of good fun. This is on sale until November 1st in Europe and October 21st in the US and Canada. Alright, let's slow things down a bit with something quiet, beautiful, and strangely emotional. Far, Lone Sails is a side-scrolling adventure that tells its story entirely through atmosphere. You play as a lone traveller piloting a makeshift vehicle across a world that feels long past its prime, an ocean-turned desert filled with the remnants of civilization. There are no enemies, no combat, not even dialogue. Instead, the gameplay revolves around maintaining your unique vehicle, feeding the engine, adjusting the sails, repairing damage, and finding fuel to keep pushing forward. The game has a hypnotic rhythm, moments of calm exploration broken by sudden storms or mechanical hiccups that demand your attention. Visually, it's stunning, minimalist yet deeply expressive. You'll pass through rusted shipyards, abandoned cities, and empty plains as haunting music swells and fades in perfect sync with your journey. Far, Lone Sails is a must-play, and with its current sale price of just £1.34, it's 90% off and an absolute no-brainer bargain. There's never been a better time to experience it. This sale runs until October 22nd in Europe and October 23rd in US and Canada. Alright, time to get back into the action, and this one's a hidden gem that deserves way more attention. Astor, Blade of the Monolith, is an ambitious indie action RPG that feels like it was built by a small team with big ideas. It drops you in a vibrant sci-fi world filled with ancient ruins, mechanical enemies, and a mysterious past waiting to be uncovered. You play as Astor, a warrior searching for answers about the extinction of the human race and the rise of strange golem-like beings. The combat is fast, fluid, and surprisingly deep. Each battle has a great sense of rhythm and flow that feels punchy and responsive. It's one of the most underrated action RPGs on the Switch, with its world building, stylish combat, in sheer amount of heart packed into its design. Astor, Blade of the Monolith, is absolutely worth grabbing, especially at 75% off, costing just £5.62 or your regional equivalent, and is on sale until October 22nd in Europe and October 23rd in the US and Canada. Now, slowing things down a bit to flex those tactical muscles with a card game that thinks way outside of the box. Faeria is a strategy card battler with a twist. You don't just play the cards, you actually build the board. Each turn, you'll place land tiles on the battlefield, expanding your territory and shaping the very ground your creatures fight on. The art style is beautiful, painterly, colourful and full of personality. Even the creature designs have that mythical storybook quality that makes them memorable. But don't let the cosy visuals fool you, there's serious tactical depth here, and you will always need to think several turns ahead. Faeria is original and balanced. It's strategic without being overwhelming, and it's one of the few card games that truly captures the feeling of world building while you play. It's absolutely worth a shot, especially at a 75% discount, just £4.49 or your regional equivalent, and is on sale until October 22nd in Europe and October 23rd in the US and Canada. Right, it's time to crank the nostalgia all the way up with an absolute retro riot. Retro City Rampage DX is pure chaos in 8-bit form, a wild open-world action game that parodies pretty much everything from the 80s and 90s. Think classic Grand Theft Auto, but reimagined with pixel graphics, over-the-top missions, and tongue-in-cheek humour at every turn. You'll steal cars, outrun cops, blast through missions, and bump into references to nearly every classic game and movie imaginable, from Super Mario to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Gameplay-wise, it's fast, punchy, and full of surprises. There's an almost absurd amount of side content, arcade challenges, collectibles, minigames, and even visual filters to make the game look like it's running on an old CRT TV. The humour is sharp, self-aware, and perfectly timed. Retro City Rampage DX is a must-grab, especially with its current price of just £2.59 or your regional equivalent. At 80% off, it's a bargain. This sale runs until October 24th in Europe and October 25th in the US and Canada. And to follow that up, let's head somewhere a little sunnier, but just as chaotic. Shakedown Hawaii is the spiritual successor to the previously mentioned Retro City Rampage, and it ramps up everything. This time, you're not just a criminal running around for fun, you're actually building up a business empire. You'll take over properties, extort shops, and run your own shady conglomerate across a massive 16-bit city. It's like GTA meets Monopoly, but with a comedic twist and a lot more explosions. The satire here is spot on. It pokes fun at corporate greed, social media obsession, and modern consumerism, all through ridiculous missions and larger-than-life characters. Visually, it's bright, colourful, and beautifully detailed. Every street corner has something going on, and the music absolutely slaps. Upbeat, tropical, and full of energy. If you want something loud, funny, and full of personality, Shakedown Hawaii is the perfect pick, and right now it's a steal at just £2.59 or your regional equivalent, an 85% off discount. And this sale runs until October 24th in Europe and October 25th in the US and Canada.
Destroy the competition. It's business in the front and bodies in the back in Shakedown Hawaii.
Okay, let's talk about one of the most joyful platformers in recent years. Tinykin is pure magic, a delightful mix of Pikmin-style teamwork and classic 3D collectathon platforming. You play as Milo, a tiny space explorer who lands on a strangely familiar version of Earth, except everything around you is gigantic. You'll team up with the Tinykin, little colour-coded creatures with unique abilities that help you solve puzzles, build bridges, and reach hidden areas. The level design is absolutely brilliant. Each room feels like a massive playground packed with secrets, shortcuts, and clever environmental puzzles. It's one of the most underrated platformers on the Switch. It nails that balance between nostalgia and modern polish. If you grew up loving Banjo-Kazooie, Mario Sunshine or Pikmin, this is a must play, and at a 75% discount setting you back just £5.39 or your regional equivalent, now is a time to pick it up. This sale runs until October 22nd in Europe and October 23rd in the US and Canada. And speaking of colourful and charming, here's a hidden gem you might have missed. Promenade is an adorable, creative 2D platformer that feels like a love letter to the golden era of collectathon games, but with its own clever twist. You'll play as a small child travelling through surreal, imaginative worlds with the help of your trusty octopus companion. Together you will explore bright, bizarre landscapes, dreamlike worlds full of quirky characters and playful puzzles. The octopus mechanic is brilliant. You can throw it to grab objects, activate switches, and even sling yourself across gaps, adding a fun layer of physics to the platforming. The art style is gorgeous, hand-drawn, full of colour and full of personality. The music ties it all together with soft, whimsical tunes that gives each area its own distinct mood. It's cosy, creative, and packed with heart. Promenade is one to pick up, and at just £6.74 or your regional equivalent, a 70% discount, there isn't a better time to do so. This sale runs until October 14th in Europe and October 15th in the US and Canada. Let's bring the energy down again with something warm, heartfelt, and just the right amount of spooky. Cozy Grove is a life sim and crafting game that wears its cozy vibes proudly but still manages to surprise you with its emotional depth. You play as a spirit scout, sent to a haunted island that's home to ghostly bear spirits. Your goal is to help them find peace, restore colour to the island, and bring life back to a world that's a little lost in time. The writing is wonderful, sometimes funny, sometimes melancholic, but often surprisingly profound. Each ghost bear has a backstory that touches on themes of love, regret, and letting go. It's wholesome, but also emotionally resonant in a way that sneaks up on you. The art style is hand-drawn and beautiful, watercolours brought to life, and the way the colour seeps back into the world as you help spirits is genuinely magical. Cozy Grove is the perfect slow burn comfort game, and since it's currently on sale for £5.34 or your regional equivalent, now is the time to give it a go. If you're in the US or Canada, act fast though, as this sale ends on October 10th, but it doesn't end until October 26th in Europe. And finally, let's shift gears and end with something a little more serious and fantasy driven. Record of Lodoss War, Deedlit in Wonder Labyrinth is a gorgeous 2D action platformer heavily inspired by Castlevania. You play as Deedlit, an elf warrior navigating a mysterious labyrinth, battling monsters and mastering elemental spirits to progress. The combat feels smooth and satisfying, the pixel art is stunning, and the music nails that classic fantasy vibe. It's a fantastic Metroidvania with tight level design and great balance of challenge. It's not too long, about 6 to 8 hours, but every minute is packed with quality. It's currently at its lowest ever price of £8.50 or your regional equivalent, a 55% discount, but all regions will need to act quickly as this sale ends on October 7th in Europe and October 8th in the US and Canada. But I highly recommend this, especially if you are already a Metroidvania fan. And that's this week's Nintendo eShop sales roundup. 10 or so standout games on sale right now. There's heartfelt storytelling, dark humour, and emotional journeys, and even some firefighting. And honestly, no bad picks. If any of these caught your eye, check out the eShop soon, as some of these sales won't last long. And if you've grabbed one of these, or have a favourite I missed out, let me know in the comments down below. I love hearing about what everyone's playing. And if you enjoyed this roundup, give the video a like and subscribe for more eShop sales, game reviews, and game spotlights. And with that said, thanks for watching, stay cozy, I'll see you around.